TGIF. From the KUOW newsroom, this is Seattle Now. I'm Paige Browning with a roundup of today's top stories. It's Friday, October 3rd. Starting with the shutdown, Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal says her party faces a terrible choice between forcing the government shutdown or allowing Republican-backed health care cuts. At a press conference today, King County Executive Shannon Braddock said the shutdown could affect 25,000 families countywide who receive baby formula and food through the Women, Infants, and Children program.
These WIC benefits are slated to run out in 1 to 2 weeks if the government shutdown continues. And loss of that federal funding means that starting Monday, our state Department of Health has announced temporary furloughs and layoffs of 50 employees who support those services.
Braddock urged congressional Republicans to negotiate with Democrats over impending cuts to federal health care and food programs. Spokane Republican Michael Baumgartner called Democrats' demands reckless, while Republican Dan Newhouse of Central Washington said Democrats are playing politics with the shutdown. Washington's 3 national parks are open today, but in limited capacity as the federal government remains shut down for a third day. But some smaller national historical parks in Washington are closed. Seattle's Klondike Gold Rush Museum, the American Camp Visitor Center on San Juan Island, and the Fort Vancouver National Historical Site all have said they're closed due to the lapse in appropriations. A national park spokesperson tells KUOW that critical functions that protect life, property, and public health will remain in place during the shutdown. Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell and challenger Katie Wilson faced off in their latest debate last night.
In troubled and threatening times, experience matters. And I humbly ask for you to give me a second term because we have the ship right where we want. We have the tenacity, the toughness to fight Trump. And you see me doing it every single day with a great team.
I'm just going to say one thing about Trump, which is that I was very concerned by the CCTV surveillance legislation that the mayor proposed and the council passed that was opposed by immigrants' rights groups and civil liberties groups, specifically because of the risk that it poses of the federal government having access to that personal information and data.
Seattle voters haven't given a mayor a second term since Greg Nichols won re-election in 2005. Harrell and Wilson debate again tonight at 8, and that will air live on King 5 TV. Ballots for the November 5th general election will be in the mail and on the way to voters in 2 weeks. Meanwhile, in Portland, faith leaders from the Black community are calling for peace as President Donald Trump works to federalize the Oregon National Guard. As Kyra Buckley reports, they added their voices to the choir of Portlanders opposing a troop presence in the city.
Bind us together, Lord.
Together, faith leaders condemned the effort to send Oregon National Guard members to Portland. Leroy Haynes is pastor at Allen Temple CME Church in Northeast Portland.
It has real consequences for families, neighborhoods, businesses, and those that are already facing fear and uncertainty.
Haynes says Black churches have a history of standing up for vulnerable communities, and that history is why they are speaking out now. I'm Kyra Buckley, reporting.
Washington Congressman Rick Larsen says he is working for the release of an Orcas Island woman detained by the Israeli government. Orcas Island's Jasmine Akita was detained Wednesday while part of a large international flotilla of boats trying to approach Gaza by sea. The flotilla is carrying humanitarian aid and protesting the Israeli blockade. Larsen says he's been in touch with Akita's family and has reached out to the U.S. State Department to advocate for her immediate release. In business news today, the Issaquah-based outdoor retailer REI has appointed 3 new people to its board of directors after co-op members rejected a different slate this spring. KNKX Murrow News fellow Nate Sanford has this story.
The new REI board members all have high-level business backgrounds. One works for a venture capital firm, and the other two have experience as executives at Nike and Skechers. They're filling vacancies created after the board's hand-picked candidates didn't get enough votes to advance this spring. The REI union urged members to withhold their votes after the board blocked 2 labor-backed candidates from the ballot.
REI would like to just have other outdoor and retail professionals on their board and not people that represent the point of view of the actual members.
Mark Lloyd is a longtime REI member, one of thousands who withheld their votes. In a news release, REI board chair Chris Carr says the company is encouraging members to nominate themselves for future board seats. Any active member can nominate themselves, but the current board has final say over who gets on the ballot. Carr says they're looking for individuals with backgrounds in sustainability and environmental equity, and experience working with billion-dollar companies. Nate Sanford, reporting.
Renovations have begun at the City of Olympia's Armory building. It's being transformed into an arts and culture hub for nonprofits. KNKX arts and culture reporter Freddie Menares has more.
3, 2, 1.
A crowd outside the Armory counted down as Olympia's mayor and city manager unveiled a closed for construction sign on the building last week. Washington State donated the building to the city in 2022. At more than 40,000 square feet, the Art Deco-style building has a lot of room. The city's plan is to house 8 arts and culture nonprofits here. Valerie Roberts manages the site. She says the aim is to provide stability for those organizations.
And then with that stability, they'll be able to make a bigger difference in the community, impact more people, and they'll be able to have just the space and breathing room to be able to pursue funding and make a bigger impact.
The city is investing $19 million to make the space safe and ADA compliant, as well as upgrading the structure's electrical and plumbing. The plan is to reopen it by mid-2027. I'm Freddie Monares reporting.
And finally today, a full slate of events in the Seattle area means you can expect traffic and crowded transit this weekend. The Seattle Mariners have 2 playoff games at T-Mobile Park. First pitch Saturday at 5:38 and 5:03 on Sunday. The Sounders play at Lumen Field Saturday night at 7:30. The Seahawks play at home on Sunday at 1:05. There are concerts at Climate Pledge Arena both Saturday and Sunday night, and the Seattle Convention Center is expecting 5,000 Pokemon fans for a convention all weekend, and 5 cruise ships are expected to arrive. So it's going to be a busy weekend. Make those plans accordingly. Next week on Seattle Now, we'll talk about the life and legacy of Dr. Quintard Taylor with people who knew him well.
He's someone who I eventually ended up calling my academic dad.
Hear that Monday morning. And that's all for today from the KUOW newsroom in Seattle. Our producer is Andy Hurst, and I'm Paige Browning. Seattle Now and KUOW are members of the NPR network. Have a great weekend.